I love you. Hmm. I love you, Buhamakaj. I love you. How do you say that in autumn? How do you say Huggy that to express that words? You know, there's a lot of words that we don't have in autumn, and love is one of them. We don't have. There's no way to say I love you in autumn, and people always kind of wonder. Shawmasma, is it? Can we love in autumn season? We don't have a word and we don't know how to say it. Sure, we can. Sure, we do. But it's just the way that our culture is. There's a lot of words much bigger to get. No thank you, no goodbye, nothing like that. And love is one of those which we don't have a word for, or we don't have it like Mirgando. Some time ago, about 30 years ago, I was doing a presentation, and I asked because there was elders. Namomoy smach, masam bachicha, love, autumn. How do you say love in autumn? There's a word in English, love, and nobody knew. And the next two times I asked, and then about the third time I said, I have $5 in my pocket. Does anybody know how to say love? Or does Ahmanyak? Then I'm going to give you $5. Nobody. And the next time, I think it was payday, so I said, $20. Anybody know how to say love in autumn? Give you $20. Nobody. And then the next time was maybe like a month later, I said $100. And by then, people were saying, there's no word for autumn. There's no word. So, and I was doing these presentations up on this different items, but it was always like love always came up. So I asked them way at the end, it was, I don't have $10,000, but if you can tell me how to say love in autumn, I will give you $10,000. I don't know where I'm going to get it, but I'll give it to you. And so I was waiting, and this man way in the back, he put up his hand like that, and I looked at him and I was thinking, oh my God, there is a word and he's gonna say it and I don't have that money. Shandon joke, and I was kind of like that, but at the same time I had to keep smiling. You know how to say love in autumn? And he's kind of like shook his head, huh? And I said, okay, tell us, Shaman Bachicha, love in autumn. And he looked at me and he said, Raf. Abapamambachi, Raf. No, not like that. Not the autumn sounding, but so again, there's no real word for love in autumn. A long time ago when we were young, we never used that in our family because there was no word. Even in English, we never really said that. And one time I went to a retreat and my mom gave me a letter, and on there it said on there that we don't need to advertise our love for you. You know that we love you because we buy you food and clothes and all that stuff. And you're either, yeah, that's true. But I didn't know how to say it back to them, and we never said it until way when my little brother was born, and it was easier because he had to say it, so we started saying that. And so, but just the feeling, because it's kind of scary when somebody says, I love you, like that. And but in English, that you have a dictionary. If you look in the dictionary, you're going to find that English has, it's not just one definition, it's a whole bunch of definitions. And back when, about 30 years ago, there was 5 definitions, and those ones that I had learned to a retreat that I gone to some retreat. It was a thing for men and women, but we went over there at that retreat, and this deacon was the one who was talked about it, and I got those words, and I started thinking, I wonder if those same words are the words that autumn will use, because we don't have one word. Maybe we have a lot of words, because I know we know how to love. So I went out and studied those, and sure enough, those 5. Now when you look in the dictionary, there's like 8 or 11 definitions for the word love, but that was too much. And I tried to look at those definitions, but it seemed like number 7 and number 12 were like the same as number 4. So eventually I just went back to the 5 definitions for love in English, and so I just used those when I make my presentations. But again, this thing called love, what is it? And I see in Milligan, or even when they talk in English, they'll say like I love you, or I love my mom, or they'll say like, oh, they sure made love on TV. They were in that movie, they were making love. So it's kind of like, well, so what does that word mean? What does it actually mean? But when I explain it to people in ODHAM who are ODHAM, I think they get a better understanding of what this word love is, ODHAM. And a long time ago, when it was about 1970s, somebody, one of my grandfathers mentioned that that's what love is. And I thought about it, and when I looked at the definition, but what about those other loves? So again, going back to the English definition of what love is. So, and this first one was listed, it's called hedonistic. Hedonistic. Hedon, a place, there's a mythology that was told to us that Hedon is a place, a tribe that believes that whoever has the most of some stuff, that's the one that is going to be the leader of the community, or that person will say something and everybody has to do it because he has the most of everything. So if he has like 500 sheep and the neighbor has like 498, and then like a week later this one has 510, and some of the first one person's sheep died, then the other one was the leader because he had more. So so that's that hedonistic love, which means the love of material things, like how much you have, like if you don't have the right thing, or you have a car but somebody else's car is better, then you don't, it's not that kind of love. And in this kind of love, that's where we get those kind of things like I heart my chihuahua, or I heart my car, or when you go into a room and somebody says, oh, I love your shoes, that kind of love, like those bumper stickers, I heart fry bread, you love things. You can love things. It's a materialistic love. Materialistic, where you love stuff that can't love you back. But you love it because, again, it's that accumulation of what you have, your wealth. So again, that's that first love. And in autumn, we would call it matachas hohoita. Matacho is hohoita. So whatever you like, some hohoit. Yeah, some hohoit for now because you got money. But after you have no more, then what happens? Then that goes away. So again, it's materialistic. The second kind of love, number two, it's called narcissistic. Narcissistic is when, like somebody that loves themselves, it's like, it's not self-love, it's selfish love. That they're like, you want the best for yourself. Forget everybody else. They can, whatever, they can suffer, but for me, I'm not going to suffer because I love myself too much. I had this one Juke on French, Lionel, over there in Tucson. I used to walk down the streets, and he would look into all the the glass stores. He would look in there, and I was always thinking, I was always curious what's in there. Until way later, I suddenly realized he's not looking at the stuff inside. He's looking at the reflection of himself. Because he'd always stop, and then he would look at himself, and then he would check his hair, and oh, number 466 is out of place, so he'd have to comb his hair and get it right. So like that, and they again, okay, you can look bad, but I'm always going to look good, So that's that narcissistic love. And there's another story inside that narcissistic. It's a Greek mythology, and in Greek mythology, there's this said that there's a story about this man who was born of this man and woman, human man, and he was a beautiful, beautiful man. She's got mass. She's up here, no, she has chick. She's tap go your shit. She's good. She's up to it. She go more. Good. Tot. That's I'm and he was doing like hi to it. Everybody praised him. This is good. Got mass, that man. And he started growing up, and he grew up into a really, really, really pretty, handsome young man. He was kind of like buff, and was very beautiful to look at. And so people saw him, and his name was Narcissus. And so this guy was walking around, and in the Greek mythology, they have these gods up in Olympus, Apollo and Zeus and all those guys up there in Olympus. And so they they were looking down and they saw this man, and they saw it's this beautiful man. They said, oh, that man's too beautiful. We can't let any of the human beings marry him. They're going to contaminate him, and he's going to be this and that. So let's make him marry one of us. Well, which one? They're looking around, and they didn't like the girls up there, so they said, let's make one. So they made this beautiful, beautiful girl. She's this cute up mass, and she was just like totally, like perfect in every way. Everything was like just right. And so they said, let's take Narcissus and put him someplace and have this girl come, and then they'll fall in love. But let's make sure that he really, really falls in love with this girl. And so they took him to this tree. He kind of walked out to this tree they used to go out to, way out in, nowhere. And that tree was standing there. There's like a pond right there. See, clear water. And that's why Narcissus used to go there. And he would play under the tree and, swim up, it's not hot. And so this girl's way, way far away. And they said, we'll keep all the human beings away, and we're going to make him fall asleep, and then we're going to give him some magic dust. So when he wakes up, the first person that he sees is going to fall in love with it. And we'll send this girl over there, and she's going to be coming, nobody else around. And when the two look at each other, they'll fall madly in love. And then that way Narcissus will marry that girl, and none of the human beings contaminate him. So the Narcissus was there for a while, and then he started getting sleepy, and he fell asleep under, and the god sent these little angels. They blew all this fairy dust on him, and they told him that when you wake up, you're gonna, whoever the first person you see is, you're gonna fall in love with. And so he's laying there asleep, and this girl's walking, like maybe 2 miles away, and she's walking. She's the only one for 7 miles. There's nobody else around. So she's walking, and he wakes up. And he's feeling really strange, and there's nobody else around. He's walking around, and he's like, he feels like it's strange because he's waiting for that person that he's going to look at and fall in love with. And so he's sitting there looking around, and nobody's around, and he's just looking, and he starts to get thirsty. And he goes to the water pond to drink some water. And he goes and he looks into that water pond and looks at his own reflection. And he falls madly in love with himself, and he's just, whoa, and he just melts right there because he's so in love with himself. And these little flowers grow out, and that's those little white flowers. That's kind of coolish thing. They're called narcissus flowers. You can go to any flower shop and ask for a narcissus flower. And that's what he turned into, that man. That's where we get the word narcissism, because he fell in love with himself. So that's Hugi, the narcissus love. In ODHAM, when you say that, that they boast about their things so much, and they're always boasting and this and that. In ODHAM, we say, give me a mic. Give me a mic. So there's the two words. First one is somebody likes something. That just means to like. It doesn't mean like a love. And the next one is give me a mic. Love of self. Selfish love, not like like as a push up, but more like don't matter what everybody else, as long as I have what I want or what I need, then I'm okay. That's that kind of love. The third love that they talk about in that English definition is philia. The word Philip, or Philippa, or Philina, or Phil. That means to love something. And like that word Philadelphia, when you look up the definition, it's called the city of brotherly love. And so that philia is like relationships. Like this, one of my cousins a long time ago, he's talking about his other cousin. He said, I love her, but I love her because she's my cousin. I don't love her like that, but I love her because she's my cousin. I can't love her like that. She's my cousin. So like that, it's philia. It's that feeling of, you're together. Real much. You have the same things. So again, that's philia. Your cousins, you might not know them. They live on the other side of the reservation, but once they tell you who their relation, oh yeah, so they're part of your family. The philia, and like in that winter time when they have the football, and that all of a sudden The duel in the desert happens. I put on my U of A gear, headphones, headgear, underwear. We thought you U of A. We're number one, that. And that other team over there on that side of, in the middle of the state, they put on there. And if people start to side of who's top how much, me and some of my relatives and we're U of A, yeah, bear down, bear. And the other ones over there, they're doing their thing in there. And I don't know, I'm not afraid of a fork. I mean, I don't know why I would fear a fork, but they seem to think that people do. Anyway, so there's a, and when I go to Walmart, Kmart, Bashas', whatever, and I see some guy over there, I don't know his name, I don't know his shoe size, I don't know if he's got relatives, maybe he's a serial killer, but he's wearing a U of A. I'm gonna say, hey, yeah, we're gonna win, yeah, this Saturday we got it, and if I see somebody else with that other, over there, I'm gonna say, what's that? Tell him to change his shirt. It's got the wrong one on. Like that. So that's filial love. Green Bay Packers. Yeah. Somebody else. What's the other teams? The Carnivals. The Carnivals are the, those other teams. I don't know why. So if you see a Green Bay T-shirt and you're a Green Bay Packers fan, and hey, yeah, we're gonna do it, and these vehicles running around with all these different, the cow with that star with the Cowboys, and you're not gonna, again, look at it, filial love. You're separating according to what is alike. Again, filial. That's filial love, and in autumn we call it wormgard. Wormgard, just like worm, not wormach, wormgard, and it's the same word that we use for clanships. When you say that's the Bana Wormgard, Nui Wormgard, Apap Wormgard, Apki Wormgard, that's that word, clanship. And a long time ago, we used to call it Wormgard when we say my family. Hugardini Wormgard, they're part of my family. And somewhere along the way, this word familia came in, but that's from the Spanish word. So people say, oh, Hugardin familia, your familia. Again, we kind of dropped that word that we used to use for family, Chimopagachicha, your familia, who got them familia. But a long time ago, it was Wormgard. Who got I the Wormgard, So again, I'm just sharing, So that's the third kind of love. The fourth kind of love is called eros. Eros in English. Again, it's a Latin root, eros. There's a little angel, that little chubby baby, and he's got little wings, and and he has a bow and arrow, and he shoots it over there. We also call him Cupid. That little chubby. That's who Eros is. That's what the actual spirit is supposed to be. So if he shoots his arrow over here at this person, and he goes and shoots his arrow at this person, they're supposed to look at each other, then they fall in love. That's why we call it Eros, erotic. The one look and you're falling in love. That's what that thing is. So that's eros love, eros. The way that is interpreted in some of the English is a word, a love of the loins, the feelings, how you feel about somebody. Boys, when you see that girl over there, and oh my gosh, you start to stand up and your stomach disappears. And then you stand up and you get louder. Yeah, I'll cuss you out. Because you're trying to make that person over there look at you. Hey, yeah. Oh, really? And you cuss. How come? So that she can see that, oh, yeah, he's like, and you show your, whatever you have, your muscles or whatever, trying to attract. Again, that's the feelings kind of love, because you have feelings for that person. And girls, same thing, you get louder, you laugh, and you keep looking over there, and you kind of make eye contact, and you start to, like swing, and your palms start to sweat. Your underarms are sweating, and your legs are moving, and your arms are moving, and you're just like, I'm gonna make him a plate. I'm gonna go make you a plate so I can go over there and give it to him. Those guys over there said to give this to you, like that, because again, it's a feelings. So again, love of the loins, eros. It means that something that you think you need. It's a feelings. But again, feelings come and feelings go. So you go to the piast and you find this man over there, or this woman, and you bring her home, and after like 2 nights you find out that she snores, or she uses a lot of paper, or she eats all the chimita. She don't know how to make chimita proper, and then it's a whole different feeling. Then it's like maybe kind of too late if they get pregnant. So, but again, feelings, they're just feelings. You need to test that out. Give it a year, test it out. Come on, you. I've had a lot of people that I'm in Samach that come to talk to me about stuff, and sometimes they'll say that that I was with her and she told me she loved me, but then she does this thing and she told me this, and I don't know anymore. They're just feelings. I said, Autumn used to do that a long time ago, but not with the feelings part, but with the getting together. And if they find out that that person was lying, or it doesn't measure up to what they were, go home, or send her home, or send him home. But again, if it's in the old, like 700 years ago traditional marriage, there's no way to really like until you've tried it for a long time. You have to almost get your parents' permission, or the parents, or the family has something to do with it. But anyway, so that's just the feelings, love. So again, you see somebody, you have these feelings. Doesn't mean you're in love, it just means you have feelings. So that's number 4, eros, love. And autumn we call it tachu. Tachu. Tachu for this dialect. Techu on the other side, on the west side. Techu. Tachua. Tachua from the other side of the reservation. Tachua. Tachu. Techu. Tachua. And again, it just says that I need that. I need that thing. See, techu. There was a fight one time early in the morning at the one of the piazza, and I remember we were trying to figure out who it was. But we knew they were from that side of the reservation. How come? Because this guy and this woman were fighting, and after all they were yelling, "He's in techu." And you go out you techu, but api in techu. No, I'm chico is in techu. Api in near it, in techu, como se llama, open. Yeah, I'm in techu, but api what? From techu, como se llama techu. Well, most of the much. Oi, mă duc, că nu apsia techu, mă, că nu batacă. Ei, ai ce techu, bine așa, mă. Nu era nu. Ei, ai ce techu, but api in techu. Api go, api in techu. And like that, so we knew again that need. I need you. And I keep saying that you can say I love you, but I think in the autumn sense, if you say I need you instead of I love you, that feels more stronger. I love you, it's kind of like, But in techu, in some tachu, I need you here. I need you to be with me because I just can't do nothing without you. Some tachu. Wow, that's real autumn. So tachu. The last autumn definition, or the last word that in the English definition, is a word called agape. Agape, that's a ceremony. It's like a meal together with the ceremony. It's kind of like eating together. Okay, that ceremony. It's called agape, and that hugi is the strongest one of the. And I think that's where this word pikurida comes from. It's a strong. How do you say? Respect, strong honoring. There's no word to describe it. You can only show it. That pikurida is something where you love no matter what. It's what they call unconditional love. Conditional love is like conditions. Like, if you do this, then I'll do this and I'll love you. If you do this, I will love you. But if you don't do this, I'm not going to love you. Get out of here. That's conditional love. Unconditional means no matter what, I'm going to stay with you. And that's what that about autumn love is, that you can want something, you can look for the right person, and they turn out to be the wrong person. Are you still going to love that person? That's the unconditional love, because it goes across not just husband and wife, but it's family together. A long time ago, we were kids, and we went to this place, and these guys were going to do they're going to build a house for this lady, and and they started doing the mud, and then they threw the straw in the mud, and we got our shoes off, and we're going in there, and we're walking around the mud to make it all like mushy, the mud and the straw together, and they were telling us they're putting water and dirt, and then they were making the bricks, and the throw, and so this guy showed up, and he was, I don't know where he came from, but he was this big guy, and he was drunk, and he came and he sat down, he was sitting over there, and he was telling, put some more straw in there, and he was saying all this stuff, you need to get in there, harder, and all this stuff, and after a while he started going to sleep, and everybody said, shh, don't say anything, let him fall asleep. But just about that time, the old lady came on and said, and so we got up and they went inside to go eat, and this man went in first, he didn't wash his hands, he just went in there, sat down way at the corner, and he started eating right away. He didn't even wait for to pray, and then we prayed, and then we ate, and they were eating, and he was talking and this and that, and he was making fun of everybody, and he was saying this, and he ate a lot of food, man, he ate a lot, and he made a sandwich and asked for a plate, and he put it in there, and he put it in his pocket or whatever. Then he went and sat down, and he fell asleep, and then during that time there was a man there, a young man that I knew that was not from here, he was from someplace, LA, and he said to that lady, he said, how come you're feeding that guy? You shouldn't feed him. And she said, why? And he said, because he didn't do nothing. He just came here, he was drunk, he was just sitting there, complaining and saying this and that to us. And the lady said, but I have to feed him, he's my relative. And I kind of like looked at him, and I was thinking, yeah, that's why we do that. But it's like that, the autumn love, autumn unconditional, that is that no matter what, you're going to love that person. It's not like you can pick and choose. I love that one, I don't love that one. It's whoever comes into your world, you have to show love for them. You can't pick and choose like look at that first love, the hedonistic love. I just saw it. You can like something, you can not like somebody, you can like somebody. You don't have to like everybody, so that's not love when you're doing that. But you choose those things. Then give me a mic. They don't care about anybody else. It's just me. As long as I get the best. And then filial love, it's only those that are in your world, that act like you, that are you, that like the same things you do. That's the ones you're gonna love. That's a gift. And then the eros love is what you're attracted to. If somebody's attracted to something and they don't like, those things, then you're not gonna allow them into your world like that. That's higi they don't like it when somebody says stuff about them or makes fun of them. But unconditional love, that means no matter what happens, whatever, that's how you're going to respond. So that's love. And so again, Milgan say, oh, I love your shoes. Right away they're talking about which one? Bet you. I want that. Or sohoit. There's a certain color, and you love that color, then people who love that color, so you say that's philia too. But if they say, like, if somebody says in English, oh, I saw that movie, they sure made love. They were making love. Which love are they talking about? Not talking about unconditional, agape. They're talking probably about the eros love. They were really making love, like that. So sometimes when you're about somebody I don't really know that well or whatever says, I love you. Which one? I hope it's that one, because I hope it's that one. But if my cousin or my granddaughters say, I love you, I know right away what they're talking about. That one. Which one of those loves? So again, there's no word in autumn for love, but we have 5 different definitions that we can say that's what they're talking about. You have to figure out, or they have to tell you which one they're talking about, and then you can say, yeah. What goes the mom and touch you? Okay, so I don't really say that a lot because again I know and what that means, but if I say it, I'm always thinking, which one do I mean? Oh yeah, that one. They don't know it, but I know it. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about that and the idea of again how babies learn, but not really that. It's just how autumn is interpreted, how autumn understand according to the customs, tradition, and the language and the history. Okay, boom. Okay,